Maybe you're not a true fan. You ever think about that? Go fuck yourself. Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk The Walking Dead Q&A 107. If you're new here, we like to do Q&A segment videos on this channel during the off-season and on-season while The Walking Dead is airing. During the off-season, we pull all the questions from the Q&A videos, the most recent ones, and then when the season is back on, we're going to be pulling questions from the first impression review and then also the Q&A videos. Like this Q&A, I'm pulling questions from Q&A 105 or 106. Yeah, 106. I got lost. There's so many. But anyway, with that said, I'm also rearranging and setting up something different for the background. I'm getting a lot of people requesting more and more a one big video covering the collection. That is coming, but I wanted to do something that I had planned with the setup because I wanted the shelving to look post-apocalyptic as well. I'm not going to be able to get to that before I do the video, so I'll have to do an update video to show you guys the post-apocalyptic shelving. But anyway, besides that, let's jump right into this. The first thing I want to talk about is coming from Rolling X Big Shot. Also, if you're new, you're going to find the rules to participate down in that video description. Those are very, very important and helpful. Hey Ronnie, why do you think they did not show Simon's role, Negan's current right-hand man, in the sanctuary? This is an interesting thing because the way they are filming the episodes, they're skipping time. Like, for example, I think they showed us more time passing in episode 3 than they did in episode 2. And I think they showed us more time passing in episode 2 than they did in episode 1. Episode 1 was like 2 days. Episode 2 was like 4 to 5 days. Episode 3 was like a week at the very least, it feels like. So with that taken into consideration, Simon is most likely on a run. Now I know a lot of people think he's going to hit the Hilltop, and that's because the Hilltop made a deal with the survivors. However, there's a problem with that. They don't know of the deal. Everyone from the outpost, and again, that's how it all started, they took Gregory's head back. Everyone in that situation is dead. Primo to the girls that took Maggie and Carol, nobody knows of the deal. And Rick's group didn't say shit. And if somebody was a snitch, alright, they would have snitched them out. What would be a more realistic thing? There was shit popping off. There was a conflict in the very beginning with the Hilltop and the Saviors. So since they sent a messenger to stab Gregory, kill Gregory, and then exchange Gregory's dead body for one of their people back, since that didn't go over well, and they don't know, I'm assuming, they made a deal with the survivors. Simon's carrying out a mission to go see what happened with that message because they gave him a time limit that such and such is going to die. Now, here's the thing. If they wanted to be smart enough to put 2 and 2 together, okay, we were holding the Hilltop's guy at the outpost that was hit, then maybe they could put 2 and 2 together and say, well, that's not a coincidence that they got hit and they were the ones holding that man. So it's likely they put 2 and 2 together without having a spy, without finding out anything, because they seem pretty clever. So I think Simon's carrying out a mission to the Hilltop to put them in check, to give them a little spanking. Another problem arises with predicting this. We saw what appears to be an attack at nighttime on the Hilltop, with people hanging from the walls and Jesus attacking walkers. So it appears they let walkers into the Hilltop, the people attacking them, and we're assuming it's the Saviors. But we also see them charging during the daytime. So there was either an attack at the nighttime, and like The Walking Dead and a lot of other shows do, you can't film everything usually at nighttime because it takes so long to film and get it filmed right. So what they'll do is they'll have part of it take place at nighttime and then part of it take place in the daytime. Like, for example, the premiere where they had the killing at nighttime and the torture of Rick Grimes during the daytime as it was going from night to day. You see what I mean? So I think they're doing something, they might be, most likely will be doing something similar where they're attacking the Hilltop at nighttime, and then we'll see it turn daytime where they actually storm in the Hilltop. Now, something else is going to have to happen because A, Gregory is a comic character that lasts a little bit longer. He can't die right now. B, it would be shit if they killed him off early because the actor that they got for him is so damn impressive. He is Gregory right off the pages of the comic book. Charisma, the talent. I mean, and listen, Gregory's is slimy. He's what I was talking about as a shit character. And I say a shit character, but that's not the best way to put it. He's a shit person in that world, because a shit character is a character you don't care about. But with Gregory, he is a shit person in the world. But the way he's a shit person, it's so damn entertaining and interesting to watch that I love it. So I think killing him off early is a bad idea, very bad idea. With that being said, something has to happen that's going to keep Simon from killing Gregory. There has to be something, because initially they were sending them the message. So I think that one thing, that something that we're missing, is going to keep Simon from killing Gregory, and then they might make some other different type of deal. Now that I'm thinking about it, I am extremely interested, because I'm drawing a blank at what that could be, you know what I mean? Because if Simon and them got into the Hilltop, why would they not kill Gregory if that's what it was all about, you know? Unless Maggie could witness Gregory doing something slimy, and that's what confirms it in her that she needs to step up, and she can't just let Gregory not support Rick Grimes in this matter. Something similar to that, I'm thinking. All right, next up, we got Vincent Starks. There are still 4 to 5 wolves that escaped. Listen, I threw this in here. You're talking about the wolves that Morgan let go. Rick Grimes killed them. Go back and rewatch it. They're dead, so the wolves are gone. They're dead and gone. Dragon Ball Radiant. Nobody seems to mention this, but the Fat Joey had Rick's gun. Yes, that absolutely looked like it was Rick's gun. I thought it wouldn't be coincidence, and I don't know. I feel like they would know they were fooling us if it wasn't Rick's gun, so it has to be Rick's gun, given I need to go back and look at it, because while I was watching it, I was zeroing in on what was going on with Daryl. I noticed the gun, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's Rick's gun, maybe it's not, oh well, whatever. When I get to the Afterthoughts video, I will either confirm or deny, so we're going to do that in the Afterthoughts video, but yeah, at first glance, it did look like Rick's gun. If that's the case, I do believe maybe Negan will just give it to him. Negan doesn't need to keep Rick's gun, you know what I mean? Rick and them do have an armory stocked. They're going to have to, over this week, hide the guns or something, but Negan's going to take half of those guns back. A lot of them are his, too, that Rick and gang stole from him. So, yeah, I think they're going to get it back. Michonne has her katana back. These are weapons that I don't think it matters, because Rick and gang, when they're out gathering supplies, they need guns. I see a lot of fans saying that Negan's going to disarm them and he's going to do all this other shit. And no, if you read the comic book, well, if you don't want to, you don't want to. But yeah, Negan's not that way. There's parts in the comic where Negan is like, listen, you guys are hurting on food. I'm going to let you go this week. Let you play catch up and whatever. He's very reasonable after he kills your friends, you know? So, and I think that's what makes him a very interesting character. All right, moving on. Harbone4815. Hey, Ronnie, I noticed no one has mentioned Negan being anti-sexual violence. Are you happy, excited they've kept that in the show? I think it bodes well for Holly being held hostage / return scenario, but obviously with a different character. You're hoping it's Rosita. Yeah, I do like that. I think that is an important part of Negan's character, because you can't make somebody all shit and expect fans to like them. Fans like Negan because not only is he entertaining, there's parts of his character that's actually really redeemable, you know? If you started watching The Walking Dead at episode, whatever episode number the season 7 premiere was, if you weren't attached to either side and you got introduced to these two groups at the same time, you would probably just watch it and be like, oh, that's harsh, but you wouldn't hate him as much as we hate him because of how we're so connected to Glenn and them. So yes, Negan being against rape, that is like saying, okay, the fans that like the character and want to be big-time Negan fans, they're like, well, see, he's not a complete disgusting degenerate, because if he was, he would turn into one of those characters that are a shit character, but a shit person. You get what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm happy they did that, because it fits his character in an interesting way and it makes him layered. SPFFA. Do you think Daryl will take Holly's death from the comics and leave it as a cliffhanger for... No, I do not. I think that's a very underwhelming way to get rid of a character like Daryl Dixon. Ronnie, I too have a feeling on Enid. Wait, what? I don't have a feeling on Enid. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. So much points to her. I have a feeling she's going to be connected to Negan's group. Maybe her parents, yada, yada, yada. One of my most popular videos is actually talking about how, no, I don't think in any way, shape, or form Enid is a spy. Listen to how ridiculous this is. Negan knows about Alexandria because Enid's a spy or something, but he doesn't do anything, and he waits and waits and waits, and he waits long enough for his own outpost to get killed. You see Negan, when he finds out about a community, they're going and they're extorting half their shit. It's a done deal. It's a wrap, you know? Look at about that one guy who left the Saviors. He hopped on a hog and he went to go get him immediately. If they found a new community, they're not going to wait around. Now, if you're saying that Enid and her family were from the sanctuary and then they bounced and left, that I guess you can entertain the idea that they were earning points and ran away. Sure, you know. But what would that do other than let Enid know that that's a very bad place to go? That could be something. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to have to return to this. But if Enid's not a spy, which is a really silly idea. Enid being the spy is ridiculous, whether it's for the wolves or for Negan himself or the Saviors. Enid is not a spy, but her family coming from being ones that earn points from the sanctuary, I might be willing to entertain that idea. I have to go back and see if there's any clues, because if Enid straight said, oh, we were in this place and there was no one around, so we moved over here and yada yada yada, then no, obviously, you know, unless she was lying, but then why would she lie? So right now I'm going to say 70%, 80% chance, no, Enid is just a regular survivor, and I'll say there's 20% chance that, hey, maybe she did come from the sanctuary. Not a spy, though, just a regular point-earning, tormented citizen. Who's this? Mark Scott. Yo, Ronnie, how surprised would you be if you found out that Simon is actually Ben's father from the kingdom? Here's one of those surprises where I feel like this is the writing where somebody just wants a big surprise. Like, holy fuck, mic drop, you know, Simon is Ben's father, yada, yada, yada. Could it be possible? Yes, but no. Because, yes, anything's fucking possible if they want a random surprise and a shocking moment, sure, whatever, but no, because I don't feel like the people at the kingdom would talk so highly of his father if that's the type of person he was, you know? Simon does not have that vibe to be Ben's father. Now, if he was, then I feel like that leans more along the lines of them just trying to surprise us or give us something. I feel like Ben's father should die at the hands of the Saviors, definitely. Not a, maybe he died by walkers, but the Saviors set the trap. But I don't believe Simon is Ben's father. No, I'm going to say no on that. You also said it might be pointless doing that. Yeah, I think it would be pretty pointless. We're going to have our own Star Wars moment.
Then I am your father.
Do you think this season is going in a messy direction? I mean, with all the characters being introduced, don't you think it'll be a little too much to keep up with, especially if we're watching other shows? I've seen a lot of comments like this where fans are like, well, I'm watching other shows and I'm getting lost and yada yada yada. I never get lost for the shows that I'm into. Like if it's Breaking Bad, if it's The Shield back in the day, if it's a show that I'm hooked, I'm not getting lost. I might not understand and I'll have to rewatch certain episodes, or maybe I missed something that someone said in an episode. Sure, but I don't get lost. Now, when it comes to shows where I think it's entertaining, but I'm not sucked in, like Game of Thrones, the first couple seasons, 2 or 3 seasons, I thought it was entertaining as hell, but it didn't suck me in yet. And yeah, I got confused as shit. I forgot what was going on, and different storylines were a mess, and I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but it's entertaining me. Once I got hooked on Game of Thrones, no, I'm not forgetting the story. I'm there. I know, okay, these guys are this guy and this guy. I might not be able to say their names yet, so fuck off. But I'm not getting lost. So I feel like if you're lost, that's on you, homie. Maybe you're not maybe you're not a true fan. You ever think about that? Go fuck yourself. What else did you ask? Oh, a messy direction. Yeah, you know what? They always run the risk of going into a really tricky situation where they're doing bottle episodes, because look, if you introduce King Ezekiel in episode 2 and then you don't have him meet Rick Grimes until episode 9, do we really give a fuck about him? You know what I mean? I'm talking about the new fans, the TV only fans. If you've seen King Ezekiel a little bit in episode 2, you got a couple minutes in episode 3, maybe a little more in 5, maybe a couple more in 7, and then you saw him in 9. I don't know, there's more opportunity to get to know the character, get to like the character, but with bottle episodes, you're like, boom, here he is, 9 fucking years later, okay, here's another episode with the character. So yeah, it's very tricky, but if they keep the storytelling, the story from the comic book, that if they keep that specifically at a good length and not rush into the war, I think, yeah, we have enough time to really appreciate how it's separated in bottle episodes once the season is done. But if they're like, oh, you know what, we're going into all-out war fast, then I think it's problematic, because you'll get King Ezekiel for, episode 2 and a little bit in episode 9, a little bit in episode 13. Look at the Hilltop. I mean, shit, we were in the Hilltop, 1 episode, and then we had Jesus for 2 episodes? Was it more than that? I don't know, I forget. Maybe 3? I feel like because of sometimes having bottle episodes, I really feel like we don't see the characters as much as we should, Anyway, moving right along. Oh, that was from VGM Dude. But look, here's a funny meme. It says, Negan saying, I have an army. Rick says, I have a Negan says, who? And Rick is like, shit. Negan says, I have a Daryl, ha ha ha. Because remember that governor meme where he's like, I have a tank, and Rick's like, I have a Daryl. Yeah, I thought it was funny. Whatever. Alright, that's the end of this video. I gotta go shopping. Leave a like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below, and also put a question, any question you want down in that comment section. I'm done talking, it's your turn. Subscribe now.